Anson and Bubba, and when you sort of talked to
Yeah, I mean, obviously Anson and I had conversations, and this isn't a conversation that we haven't had in the past. It's just a matter of timing and when. Those are some of the things I knew was going to be on his timeline, and when he knew was right, it was going to be clear, and he was going to over-communicate that with me. For me, it was not so much about like the timing of it. It was more that, you know, I've been with someone for 8.5 years, and I consider to be a mentor and a very close friend. And when you sit across from somebody, your offices are literally connected together. Meetings don't exist; they just organically happen. We just happen to talk. So the conversations we had aren't always just about soccer. It's just about life in general and family. And one thing I know since the first day I've been here is that I know he cared about me. And that's something that I'll always carry on and try and make sure that everyone that's surrounded by me feels the same way. So it was more of a, honestly had nothing to do with, oh my gosh, we have a game next week. Honestly, I didn't even think about it because our preparation, if he did it the day before preseason, nothing would have changed in regards to the preparation. The training sessions I run, the video sessions I run, all those, the recruiting. So it's just a matter of that your friend, your mentor, is now making a decision to move on. And honestly, making sure that he was okay with that decision. I wanted to make sure that he was comfortable. I mean, his family is extraordinary. They've embraced me as a family member, and I'll be forever thankful to them, and I love them for that. So I'm just really happy for him. The celebration should not just be this one moment in this one day. For what he's accomplished in sport in general should live on for forever. So for us, it's not about packaging it in today, although this is required. It's about kind of just carrying on a lot of the qualities he has and him entrusting me to add some others to it.
Obviously, Lawrence just thinks so much of you, and as he was kind of sharing those thoughts, you were getting, emotional. Just take me through just the emotions of what you're feeling.
Even when you hear them, whenever anyone ever says something that's complimentary, you always take it and appreciate it, and you should. If it was the first time he ever shared those things to me, my emotion was more that he did it on a daily basis. Like he always uplifts you and believe in you. And for me, when he shared with me 2 years prior to me coming, I declined the opportunity to come on his staff for 2 years. It was really my wife that pushed me to kind of come do it. And it was the best decision I ever made. So he's always followed through. He's always been honorable. He's always showed his belief in me. He knows what his legacy is, and to the outside world, oh my gosh, the success, that's the obvious. He's believed in me, and for me, I've had 8.5 years to sit front row and witness a lot of different things that really a lot of times had nothing to do with soccer. That's helped me kind of better understand the soccer and the game and development has been my life. I've done it all my life from all different ages. He has prepared me to kind of know there's other bigger pictures to things than just the game. And if you do those well, the performance of the players and the opportunities will come. And he's allowed me to be around some extraordinary people, and I've been able to get to know people. Tim is being one of them, as he talks about all the time in his book. So for me, I'm just very thankful, and I just want him to be happy. Look, this isn't a goodbye. And trust me, he's not joking. Like, I'll be around him all the time, and if you want to hear the loudest supporter in the crowd, it's going to be Anson Durrance, that I know.
You mentioned that he's had these kind of conversations with you for a while. Did they speed up, or did you get a sense that maybe he was serious this time, that he was getting toward the end?
No, we've talked about it for years. I mean, the thing that's been really great to watch is Anson, when I've been here, I knew, like, when he handed over a lot of different responsibilities, no matter what I did or added to training or recruiting, I always ran it by him. I wanted to make sure I was within the core values of what he wanted. And what I realized is when a lot of it was taken on, I would run the sessions and do the video. It took a lot for him not to have to worry about it. He was still at the same energy, the same commitment, but he was able to focus on other things and really enjoy it, which gave him a longer period of time to want to be a part of the career. So for me, I told him it's whenever you are ready. I would just say I just had a better pulse of like where he felt when he said it in the press conference, as well as when he went on vacation with his family. When he came back, I could kind of get the feeling that how important his family means to him. And going into preseason, I kind of felt it a little bit, but I still didn't know because you can't predict anything with Anson. And ultimately, what I knew when he told me, I could see how happy he was with where he was with his family and what he wanted to do. And again, him sharing his belief in me is really all I need. Whatever happens from here, to be honest with you, if you think about that, anyone in my position that gets that, no matter what happens, I can feel pretty good about myself.
Any sense to one more year, you take on most of the responsibility, but he's been here for 45, 47 years, to give him sort of that farewell kind of season.
But as you know, Anson, he doesn't look for it, right? I mean, those that seek that attention are ones that probably don't deserve it as much. And for me, he's someone that's going to get the attention, whether he did it in this manner or another manner, and he deserves that. So for me, Anson's going to get his flowers, and he should, beyond this press conference, and it's going to go above and beyond. And I know for me, to honor him is to keep the core values the way he has it, the core of what he's built with the program with, adding to, we always talk about a fusion of our ideas and our energies, and my responsibility is to carry that on with trying to eliminate that pressure to feel from the players. And they're going to feel it, and they're going to from the outside, whatever that's out there. And who knows what's going to come tomorrow and how it's going to go, but I can promise you I'm not going to work any harder. I'm not going to have any more focus because I've given my full attention and focus, and my responsibility is to continue that.
Has it hit you yet that you're the guy now? Has it hit you?
No, because I don't even look at it like that. I mean, Bubba has a decision to make, and I respect his position. Someone asked me and said, "Do I think they'll feel pressure in hiring me?" I hope not. I mean, I hope if I'm hired for anything efficient, that I've earned it. I don't want anyone to ever hire anything. And in respect to Bubba and the university, and as prestigious as these programs have been, and all across the sports, they're not making decisions based on pressure of anything. I hope that I prove myself and will continue to. And if I'm fortunate to lead these women beyond this time and whatever the timeline that he sets, I'll be extremely honored and prepared. And I'm thankful for that. Bubba is an amazing athletic director, and the chancellor have been wonderful in this short window as well. And I'll just continue to do what I do, and I'll be prepared no matter what happens.
Anson obviously has his, quotes and stories, anecdotes, things like that. Like, is there one that really stands out to you as your favorite or very memorable?
It depends on the mood, right?
Right.
I mean, I think there's a quote, something that you can address to everything, and that's really one of the unique qualities that he has. Never-ending ascension is one that always stands out, right? It's just life in general, and he always talks about the players, and I would consider to put ourselves in that same boat of what our development is, what my development as a person, as a coach. So the never-ending ascension is something that is constantly discussed, and it's hard to not have that as one of the highlighted quotes that Anson has in life in general. Now you can relate that to sport, but I think you can relate to as a human being as well.
Damon, I talked to you a couple of times last season, I remember. And constantly Anson would credit you for making a lineup change or a strategic change or a halftime change. And you've handled all the recruiting. With the heavy load that you've been used to having, does that make this transition fairly easy or easier?
Yeah, you would think that people. Anson's one of the most intelligent human beings I've ever been around. He is not. He intentionally went about things in a way, and I think it's without it really being a test, because Anson doesn't look at it like that. I think he put me in a position for him to even evaluate and assess. Well, he wouldn't say it, but just to kind of admire. I think what he thought before I came here would come to fruition, and he's given me all the platform to be able to share those, and really it's whether or not you give that same energy. So yeah, I think I'm prepared for it. I think all of those things. Now it's about figuring out what's the next steps. The only difference is like how do you readjust some of the the responsibilities to be able to help, and we have an amazing staff to do so. We've already met as a staff, just kind of some of the little things, because the priorities right now are just the current team. That's our number one priority, and then our future players. We have some extraordinary commitments. I was on the phone until 1 o'clock in the morning with every one of our recruits last night, from the West Coast to the East Coast, and they are all so supportive, and they ask some certain questions, and I'm the one that the head of their recruiting, so they always ask questions about the long term and things like that. But this is where I want to be, and I'm hoping to be here. But right now, I'm not worried about that. Honestly, Anson's always showed me is that he always puts the players first, and I'm going to do no different.
And the elements that have made the program so good, the competitive cauldron, all those elements, you plan on continuing all of them?
Yeah, I think any time, and we even talked about before this, even last year, is like you look at those things. I think it's an important part. I think people run from the element of truth sometimes, and I think that still is something that's going to drive the program. But every year we tweak it. Like, how do you modify it? How do you look at it? You ask some questions. Do you change it a little bit? The concept of it won't change. There might be some additions to it. There might be some modifications to it based on what we think is going to be in the next stage of development. But as far as it being a part of it, 100%.
Couple more. Damon, did he tell you on Friday as well? Was that sort of your timeline?
Well, gosh, let me walk backwards on this. Friday, he told me early that day in there, and then he kind of gave me the timeline who he was going to be speaking with. So again, I kind of felt it without him actually directly telling me. But yeah, he told me, and he just wanted to make sure that he did it in a manner that was respectful to everyone. He was on the call with so many people on that morning after he spoke to me, just to make sure past players and some prominent people that impacted his life.
Do you think he knew that was his last game when he coached that last game?
Which
the one that he was talking about, the 5-1 game?
He actually coached one more.
Yeah, look, Anthony, he's going to twist that story in a lot of different ways.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
right? And what a story to tell. So yeah, and people always ask that, did he want to go out and winning another national championship? Look, we were 16 seconds away from winning one years ago, and I'll be honest with you, he didn't want to do it for himself to go out. I think for him, he always wants to achieve that, and I think more than him, it would have been a great story. But I think he wanted to do it just for his family more than himself. And I think that to me is the unique part. There's a lot of me in this world, and especially in our industry. People would be shocked. The person that is the least about me is Anthony Dorrance. And that's a lesson that I've learned. So it just so happens that he went out with the pro team. And that story is going to be told in many, many different ways. It'll be in one of your chapters in one of the next books.
But he coached Saturday's game too, right?
He did, and honestly, the pro game would have been his last game had it not been for the Chancellor being announced. So really, it would have. His goal was that he was going to tell the team on Friday. He wasn't going to. He told me, he's like, I'm going to be in the stands rooting for you against Davidson. That's what he said to me. And then when we found out, we saw the conflict. Then we had to push it to them. So yeah, that was just based on circumstance.
Can I ask one global question about that this house settlement is coming down, that there's going to be NIL, revenue sharing. At a big school like this with 28 sports, there's a lot of mouths to feed, and obviously the women's soccer program, the women's field hockey program, there's a lot of programs that deserve it here at North Carolina.
Sure.
How is all that going to work from a women's soccer perspective? We heard about getting to revenue neutral. Is there a sense that you're sort of on your own, you're going to have to find a way to make all this work?
No, I mean, look, that's a whole athletic department responsibility. That's Bubba's responsibility, and there's no one better to lead that than him. For us, as we go on exactly what we know, and they tell us that this is what we have, this is right now. Could it change? Sure. For us, right now there are programs out there that have tons of NIL money. We're recruiting against the top schools that have a lot of money, and those schools are coming here for a different reason. And ultimately, we're trying to share with them whatever their dreams are, that we believe that we're going to be the best at doing that. As far as all that stuff, that's for someone else to make the decision. We're not going to whine about it. We're not going to complain about it. We're going to move forward, and hopefully that people see this as a special place, and it will continue to be for a long time. So I'm not worried about that. We'll just move along with the times.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.